Minglawa, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Here are the latest news and reports. Yangon City Development Committee to borrow €50 million from Poland. A report on Ministry of Health to raise coronavirus awareness on YBS and various communication platforms. A story coverage on World Robot Games Myanmar 2020. And the last report on Myanmar participating in World Skills ASEAN Singapore 2020. We'll definitely get to the reports in a while, but before that, let's take a look at some local news. Education Development Implementation Conference 2020 was held at the Myanmar International Convention Center 2 in Naypyidaw Tuesday morning, and State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi attended the ceremony and delivered a speech. In her address, the State Councillor said, discussions will be held over the drawbacks and challenges in the sector of education, and the reforms to be made and the best solutions will be sought for in the sector of the education of our country. She added, two conditions may be taken into consideration. First, reviews may be made on the conditions in the past. Second, the reforms are to be introduced for the betterment of the future. Obviously, it isn't easy to launch the reforms. If reforms are on the way, those who are going to be involved in the process and are engaged in the tasks of the implementation must change their mindset first. She also said it is very important that our education system should be directed towards training the education and foresightedness of young minds. Vice President Henry Zin, head of the leading committee for the protection of farmers' rights and promotion of interest, delivered an opening remark on the 2020 seed fair, which was held at the State Agricultural Institute in Pyamana Township of Naypyidaw Council area Tuesday morning. In his speech, the Vice President emphasized the importance of quality seeds suitable for respective areas in producing sufficient, nutritious, and safe food which can help promote incomes of farmers. He added that the government is implementing development of living standards for the farmers, who contribute 70% of the country's population, and enforcing the law of protection of the farmer rights and enhancement of their benefits amendment law, which was enacted in December 2018. Myanmar also adopted the Rural Development Law on December 27, 2019, to promote the lives of rural people in a wide range of sectors. Union Minister for International Cooperation U Tin received United Nations Secretary-General's Special Envoy on Myanmar, Christine Schreiner Bergener, on Tuesday in Naypyidaw. During the meeting, the officials exchanged views on measures taken by the government for repatriation of displaced persons, for implementation of the national strategy on resettlement of internally displaced persons, and closure of IDP camps. Recent developments in creating a conducive environment for the returnees in cooperation with the United Nations and ASEAN, speeding up the citizenship application process, and recent visit of Myanmar officials to Cox's Bazar to meet with the displaced persons. The Union Minister also informed her of his view on the recent decision by the International Court of Justice on provisional measures in the case brought by the Gambia against Myanmar, as well as steps taken by the government to address the accountability issue through domestic judicial system, as recommended by the final report of the Independent Commission of Inquiry. That's all with the local news, and here's the first report on Myanmar Today. With a plan to turn waste into gas and fossil fuel, YCDC will collaborate with Poland and Japan in building a plant. For this project, YCDC is planning to take a loan of €50 million from Poland, but Pidang Suluto is yet to give approval for this loan, Williamson reports.
Yangon is a city with nearly 8 million residents, and it is increasing rapidly as many people are moving to Yangon for better opportunities in life. As the city population keeps on increasing, managing the waste for the whole city has been a tremendous work for Yangon City Development Committee. Yangon City has also seen a significant increase of waste since 2008, and according to the report by some of the experts, Yangon will run out of space to dump the waste within 4 years if no change is made. Recently, Uma Mangso, the mayor of Yangon, said that YCDC first planned to generate electricity from waste, but there was some disagreement between the government and YCDC in pricing electricity generated from waste There was no agreement reached between YCDC and the government to implement the first plan. Therefore, the plan to generate electricity from the waste had to be abandoned, and now YCDC is planning to produce gas and fossil fuel by waste instead with the help of Japan and Poland. However, it will cost YCDC over 50 million euro to complete the project, and it is yet to get approval of Bidang Zutlada to take 50 million euro loan from the government of Poland. Therefore, whether to approve the request of YCDC to take loan of 50 million from Poland or not, Bidang Zutlada representatives discussed this issue at 15th regular session of 2nd Bidang Zutlada, which was held on 28 January. During this Bidang Zutlada session, many of the representatives made their discussions in favor of approving taking loan from Poland. Discussing at Bidang Zutlada, Wu Yemin-so, Lada representative of Yangon Region Constituency 7 said,
As this project will be able to consume 1,500 tons of waste daily, we must also be aware that we still need other plans to curb with another 1,000 tons of waste, knowing that Yangon produces 2,500 tons of waste on a daily basis. In some of the developed nations, they have been using this kind of system for many years to tackle huge amount of waste by biological and chemical treatment incinerator. Therefore, using the same method here in Myanmar, we will be able to cope up with the demanding waste space in Yangon at the same time, and we will be able to reduce the burden of the public. If we are to implement this project, I would like to urge that we need to inform all the information of the project to the public and keep them updated, mostly importantly, to show transparency of the project. Therefore, I'm here to show my support on taking a loan from the government of Poland for making Yangon clean and free of pollution.
One of the largest waste sites in Yangon is located in Shantaya Township, where different kinds of waste from hospital to industrial zones waste are being dumped directly on the ground. With the increasing amount of waste and insufficient waste dumping site, the pollution of water, air, and environment are all interlinked with the current system of waste dump. This dumping site was once burned in 2018, which lasted for over 2 weeks, causing a huge air pollution in Yangon. Though the plan to take loan from Poland is very much acceptable proposal among Lada representatives, there is also a concern that taking loan and initiating the project by the government may give a negative impact to the innovative private sectors, as there are several private companies willing to work on solving waste issue. Speaking on this issue, U Tanzo of Yangon Region Constituency 4 said,
The reason for the failure of private sectors in our nation is the government is doing the works which are supposed to be carried out by the private sectors. If you look at international practices, these things are usually carried out by private sectors, and when we look at all the loans taken in the previous years, we see the delay of loan. And another alarming thing we need to be aware is by the year of 2022 to 2023, we will have a huge amount of debt to pay. With the increasing number of interest rate and the delay of projects with loan money, we need to be aware of the financial struggle we may face in a few years' time. Therefore, my suggestion is to consider the role of private sectors for the project like this.
This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's a report on YCDC to borrow Euro 50 millions from Poland. Alright, it's time now to check on the weather forecast in Myanmar. Well, in Yangon, not a very good condition because there's hazy sunshine. Air quality will be unhealthy for sensitive groups during the day, and it'll just be hazy at night. Highest temperature for the day will be at 33 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 16 degrees Celsius. It's sunny in Naypyidaw during the day, with mainly clear skies at night. Highest temperature for the day will be at 33 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 14 degrees Celsius. A beautiful weather with mostly sunny conditions in Mandalay during the day. Highest temperature for the day will be at 30 degrees Celsius and the lowest will be at 15 degrees Celsius. Well, back to our reports now, and we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates after this report. Ministry of Health and Sports on Monday announced that measures will be taken to disseminate the novel coronavirus awareness information on public transport network and other communication channels. Officials from the Ministry of Health and Sports, Myanmar Hoteliers Association and Yangon Region Transport Authority attended the discussion at the Yangon Regional Health Department on Monday. More on preventive measures and the awareness-raising plan, Akacho will tell us more.
Ministry of Health and Sports on Monday announced the measures will be taken to disseminate the novel coronavirus awareness information on public transport network and other communication channels, including social media. China's death toll from coronavirus has risen to 80 so far, and countries across the world are in a bid to contain the virus. Officials from the Ministry of Health and Sports, Myanmar Hoteliers Association and Yangon Region Transport Authority (YRTA) at the event discussed the precautionary measures against a potential viral infection at the Yangon Regional Health Department. Union Minister for Health and Sports Dr. Min Tui said,
We will also discuss with departments concerned like the Ministry of Transport and Communications to execute the measures and monitoring is in place. Once the World Health Organization announced, we are ready to exercise the measures. Although we don't have the infected patient yet, once it happens, the impact will first hit the hotel owners, hotel staff, tour guide, and soon on. So we have made preparations for the hotel owners and staff, and the hospitals and laboratories are all prepared for the potential infection. We want to remind the general public not to believe in the rumors on this issue and to be in touch with a credible source from China's state media and the Chinese embassy.
The ministry has disseminated the awareness and information through state media and other communication channels, and it is expected to further inform through measures such as ethnic language radio programs. In order to reach the wider audience, the ministry is cooperating with the Yangon Region Transport Authority to help raise awareness. Dr. Tontin, Director of Central Epidemiological Unit of Ministry of Health and Sports said,
At airport, all travelers coming from Wuhan are to report to the airport quarantine desk. If the travelers are found to be infected, they will be treated at the designated hospital free of charge. As there is no infected patient yet, we are prioritizing to handle the spread of viral infection from abroad. So we are taking the quarantine and control measures in airports and seaports. We have also developed with WHO's guidance and distributed the plans and information to the states and regions. So to be able to track and find the infected people, we have distributed the necessary documents like health declaration cards since Sunday.
Based on the currently available information, WHO does not recommend any restrictions on travel or trade. However, countries are encouraged to continue beefing up preparedness for the health emergencies. Preventative measures against virus include regular hand washing, covering mouth and nose when coughing and sneezing, thoroughly cooking meat and eggs. It is also suggested to avoid close contacts with anyone showing symptoms of respiratory illness. Dr. Thanai So, Deputy Director of Vector-Borne Diseases Control of Ministry of Health and Sports said,
We will also put up billboards and posters on awareness of coronavirus in major road crossings and public areas, QR hosted website on the MOHS pages as well as social media, MRTV, radio programs, private multimedia channels, mobile operator services, and so on. We will also work with Yangon Region Transport Authority to raise public awareness on YBS buses, bus stops, and bus media.
Controlling the spread of the virus requires both public health and medical measures, and for that we need a clear clinical profile. Studies indicate that Wuhan and SARS viruses share a common ancestor, a beta coronavirus found in bats. However, that virus could not be transmitted to humans without an intermediary. A study released by a group of Chinese scientists suggests that the virus might have made its first jump to a human from a snake. If correct, it would be the first time a reptile was the host for this kind of pathogen.
That's a report on Ministry of Health to raise coronavirus awareness on YBS and various communication platforms. And now we have information on currency rates from Myanmar's central bank. $1 is at 1,465 kyats. 1 Chinese renminbi is at 211 kyats. 1 euro is at 1,615 kyats. 1 pound sterling is at 1,906 kyats. 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,078 kyats. 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 358 kyats. 1 Thai baht is at 47 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 20 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,564. Silver is at $17. And Brent crude oil is at $54. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,000. MTSH went up 50 and it's now at 3,950. MCB remains at 8,100. FPB went up 500 and it's at 23,500. TMH is at 2,850. You're with MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can log on to our website at miradio.com.mm and catch other great programs of MI Radio on the website. We're also running on 96.1 FM in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. Alternatively, you can download our app on both iOS and Android platforms. It's easy to search. Just type in Myanmar INTL Radio and you'll find the app. Download it on your devices so you can listen to our radio programs on the go. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. World Robot Games Myanmar 2020, a friendly environment competition full with innovations and technology from children to young adults, was held at the MICT Park Main Conference Hall last Saturday. David Tanner has more.
World Robot Game is a competition in which participants have to use robots which is being constructed by microcontroller boards. It is an international robot games competition with 10 different genres of games including sumo, rugby, and line tracing, etc. The competition is classified as junior, senior, and master level, but this time, World Robot Game Myanmar, a national level robot competition with an age limitation from the age above 10. With that said, I have interviewed Uzo Winton, a representative of WRG Myanmar, regarding this competition.
Today's event is what we call World Robotic Games Myanmar 2020. It is a competition to promote and give youth a peace of mind for what robotics is and how we can learn it through fun ways. It is also an essential part of STEM education, which consists of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and how it is so much needed in our Myanmar education system. If we were to tell the background history where this World Robotics Games Myanmar 2020 is, we will have to start with the time in which we collaborated with the Clash of Robots team and has been doing smaller scale of competition since 2018 and 2019. And as we got notice from the WRC International Organization, we got an invitation to be a representative for WRC in Myanmar for the first time, and I'm really proud of it.
Uzo Winton also told MI Radio for why robotics is an essential part of our next generation's education system. Let's find out.
Robotics consists of pretty complicated systems put together, like coding, computing, hardware engineering, and electronic engineering. Because of the vagueness of the certain terms, researchers often don't speak about robots, but about robotics. Robotics is the study of mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, electronic engineering, and computer science, and it's a broader way of looking at developments. An autonomous, self-driving car may or may not be a robot, depending on your interpretation of definitions, but robotics is definitely involved in its design process.
One of the spokesperson of WRG also told MI Radio for why he really wants to help make robotics a thing here in Myanmar.
Well, World Robot Games introduced several games for children until even young adults. There are different scales of games in order to allow students' creativity and innovation to come up with solutions, write programs, and compete in a very friendly environment. So this has been going on in some parts of participated by several countries, including the Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and we decided through this organization, Myanmar Computer Federation and the organizations of Myanmar, to represent Myanmar in the next World Robot Games. They have been invited last year in Thailand, and this year's robot competition in August will be held in Taiwan.
I have also asked him for how much do he expect from the youths of Myanmar. Let's hear it out.
It's not just WRG that I expect to thrive in Myanmar. I expect robotics as a way of learning in the field of STEM to thrive very well in Myanmar in the next few years. This first attempt of a competition here, and I see the very brilliant young men and women doing things even as young as 9 years old. So I would say there's a big promise and there's a big opportunity to tap into the young people and let them discover for themselves their own capabilities. For the young generation right now, we see a lot of problems around the world, even in your community, that seems to be so big. But if we help one another with the use of technology and also your inventive solutions, you can be the giver of solutions for the next generation, and that would be you, because some of the problems we as adults are having a hard time to solve right now.
Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
That's a report on World Robot Games Myanmar 2020. And here's the last report on Myanmar participating in World Skills ASEAN Singapore 2020. As the world has been changing into Industrial 4.0, Myanmar also approached to Industry 4.0 with the increase of skillful workers. World Skills ASEAN Singapore 2020 is going to be held in July. National Skills Standard Associations organized Myanmar skills competitions to choose the winner for the 13th World Skills ASEAN. Here's a report.
The world has been changing into Industrial 4.0, and based on that, there's also Education 4.0, Economic 4.0, Marketing 4.0, Bank 4.0, and so on. Along with the modern technology, new marketing trends, job opportunity, human resource, improvements of small and medium enterprise are also bringing the Myanmar 4.0. In approaching the Industry 4.0, together with the skill improvement and the learning on new skills are also much needed. The skillful workers are also necessary for the foreign investor, and these are also important for the labor market and for the country's future. For the increase of skillful workers and the skill training, Myanmar Skill Competition 2020 is held on 25th and 26th of January at Tamador Hall. This event is mainly organized by National Skill Standard Authority, and the competition will be categorized into automobile technology, refrigeration and air conditioning, electrical installation, hairdressing, cooking, and restaurant service. Upyo Mendeng, Chief Minister of Yangon Region Government, gave a welcome speech in this event.
We need improvements in labor skills in our country, and for the skillful workers and skillful professionals, I'd like to say that the skills are concerned with education. Nowadays, our education system has changed into not only the university education, but also vocational education. The students in our country has interest in vocational institutes. They also believe that they will get a perfect career life easily on the vocational educations rather than university educations. So we need to improve a lot in this sector and change into professionalism. The workers from Nations Vocational Institute also have the international standardized skills, and SSA also trying to get such international skills. For example, there are also differences in amount of work done for a daily input compared to the professionalism of foreign-made countries' laborers. If those foreign laborers take part in our nation's workplaces, there will be no opportunities for our local laborers. So, to restrict and to improve the nation, we need skillful workers trained systematically.
The participants will have to be under 22 years old, and the awardees will be selected from each category. They will also have the 6-month trainings and will be picked as a country representatives to participate in the 13th World Ski ASEAN Singapore 2020, which is going to be held on July. U Aung Min Myu, Sales and Customer Service Manager from Star University, said.
There are
much increase in the institutions and trainees in cooking and restaurant work services. There were much difficulties in organizing such events and also in participating in such worldwide competitions lately. Now it's becoming popular, and there is also much improvements in hotel and travel sectors, which is supported by the government. We also hope to take part in such international competitions in upcoming years.
There's a 22 ski area in the World Ski ASEAN Singapore 2020, and Myanmar is going to be part of the 6th area. And only first and second prize winner from this competition can join for each ski area in Singapore. The participants are chosen over the interview and the practical test and for the ski competition. There's only around 6 participants for each area. U Nay Myu Zong, Senior National Program Officer of Swift Embassy, shared his opinion on this competition.
For the
youths that have learned the vocations, they are more likely to have higher job opportunities and well-paid jobs. The benefits of this skill competition is that youth can know the importance of vocational institutes, participate in the international skills competitions. This competition is worth organizing if people get the knowledge of how important the vocational institution is.
The rules and regulation and the marking scheme for the ski competition is based on the World Ski ASEAN, and Myanmar have participated since 2014, and this is the 4th time.
And that's all the reports on Myanmar Today. Now, as we all know, the world is being struck with health crisis, viruses spreading, earthquakes shaking the planet, and things are unspeakably escalating so quick that I believe we should keep up with the news from around the globe. So let's take a turn to some international news and find out what's happening around the world. Chinese President Xi Jinping said he welcomes the World Health Organization's participation in the prevention and control of the novel coronavirus, saying that China is willing to work with the international community on promoting regional and global public health. President Xi made the remarks during a meeting with the WHO Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus at the Great Hall of the People in Beijing on Tuesday. President Xi said the Chinese government has been communicating information related to the virus in a timely, open, and transparent way, actively responding to people's concerns and strengthening international cooperation. He told the WHO chief that with the Communist Party of China leadership and the strength of its people, China is determined and capable of winning the battle against the coronavirus.
对中国人民来说，我们现在正在进行着一场严肃的斗争。中国政府呢是高度重视，因为政府的宗旨呢就是把人民的生命安全、身体健康放在最高位置上。所以对这一次的疫情防控工作呢，我一直是在亲自指挥、亲自部署。我相信只要我们坚定信心，同舟共济，科学防治，精准施策，我们一定会战胜这一次的疫情。
As you know, as soon as the virus started, the identification of the pathogen was a record time. But not only that, the pathogen was sequenced and the genome was shared immediately so that other countries can use it. And side by side, you have started serious public health measures. And this is very, very important, and really we're proud that. And the other important element is the political commitment and your personal leadership, which we have been following, and also your team, which will help to stop this virus.
French police have clashed with firefighters protesting in Paris against their working conditions and demanding more pay. Thousands of firefighters attended the protest in the French capital, asking for an increase to a bonus for working in dangerous conditions. The payment has stayed unchanged since 1990. The confrontation came after a group of firefighters deviated from the approved route. Police fired tear gas and hit some protesters with batons. Clad in uniforms, some firefighters had defied orders not to wear their helmets or other protective gear. Two even doused their fire-retardant clothing with fuel and set it ablaze to make their point. Well, that's a wrap, and thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye now.